Hello, I'm Boo Boo McStuffins from Channel 9 News, CWC. Tonight we'll be reporting on topics such as Rise in the North, Bull Run, Antietam, Copperheads, Ulysses S. Grant, and enacting a draft. Lebron Jams, do you have anything to say about Ulysses S. Grant?
I do, Boo. In 1868, Ulysses S. Grant, hero of the Civil War, has just been elected as the youngest president of the United States. He is 46 years old and will be the 18th president of the United States. When he was 17, he joined the military at West Point. He was not a very good student, but bored we all. He just wanted to do 4 years of duty to get out to be with his family. In 1858, Grant left the Army and moved back to Missouri. He had a hard time going back to regular life, not being part of the military and all. In 1861, he rejoined the military when Confederate troops attacked Fort Sumter. Grant led many troops through very tough and bloody battles in Kentucky and Tennessee. Grant admittedly believed that taking down the Confederate armies was the most important to the war efforts. He was eventually able to get Robert E. Lee and his army to surrender in 1865, where the two signed an agreement of peace. Wow. And next up is Axel Spiceman in the Battle of Bull Run. To you, Axel.
Hi, I'm Axel Spiceman, reporting live from the Battle of Bull Run here at Manassas, Virginia. Me and my fleet of Union soldiers, we were on our way to Richmond, Virginia. That's the capital of the Confederate States. Unfortunately, we were ambushed by Confederate soldiers. We didn't see them coming. We don't know how they knew we got here. However, outside sources do tell me that some woman named Rose Greenhow apparently sold us out. I don't know if this information is true or not, but they also mentioned that she might have snuck some sort of letter containing that information in a girl's curly hair. This is a major turning point for this war. If you don't understand, this basically means that we might not stand a chance against the South. They put up much more of a fight than we thought they would. President Lincoln, he might have to issue a draft if these amount of men keep dying. Signing off.
Bruh.
Next up, we have Cornelia Figgins talking about enacting a draft. To you, Cornelia.
This is Cornelia Figgins here reporting to you about the enactment of the draft. While both the North and South were constantly losing men in battle, the Confederacy enacted the first draft in 1862. What do you think about that, Boo Boo?
Well, in my opinion, if that's what needs to be done, then so be it.
White men between the ages of 18 to 35 were involuntarily put in the war.
Hey, the only thing I have to say about that is I'm glad I'm not 18.
Same, I'm lacing on a man.
Same.
Later, the Union passed a similar draft that stated that the men could be drafted from the ages 20 to 45. Controversy between the rich and the poor began as this conflict was called the rich man's war and the poor man's fight.
Man, I think that's mostly because rich men can buy themselves out of the war by sending in a poor man in their place.
I don't think that's fair, Boo Boo.
I agree.
Next up, we have Lebron Jams talking about the Copperheads. To you, Lebron. The Copperheads. And no, I don't mean a head made out of copper. I mean the Copperheads of the North. N-O-R-T-H, North. They were a radical part of the Democratic Party during the Civil War. They opposed the Civil War very much. They wore pennies on their clothes so that the people around them would know who they truly were and where they stood when it came to the Civil War. Really, they are a group mostly from the North who was against the war. They wanted to try and stop it very badly. They were called Copperheads by the Republicans after the poisonous snake. Some of you might be wondering what happened with the Copperheads. Well, the Copperheads were always trying to defend what their beliefs were and trying to end the war. The Copperheads didn't really end up making much of a difference like they wanted to, but it's the thought that counts. Next up, we have Boo Boo McStuffins talking about riots in the North. To you, Boo Boo.
I
believe I can touch the sky.
Bruh.
We're rolling. Oh. Good evening, folks. This is Boo Boo McStuffins here. Tonight, the Union is at war with itself. That's right, our own citizens are in the streets tonight, rioting against what they believe are government injustices. In fact, right outside the studio, there's an angry mob of pro-slavery... Yes, sir. I've just received a telegraph from our president, Abraham Lincoln. From now until further notice, habeas corpus will be suspended. Back onto the subject of riots. In other cities, like New York, people are protesting about the new draft law. This requires that all men from ages 18 to 25 be enlisted in the war. I advise all citizens, especially African Americans, to stay inside tonight. Good evening.
And last but certainly not least, we have Cornelia Figgins in the Battle of Antietam. To you, Cornelia.
1862, and I'm at the site where Antietam is being occurred at. On September 16, Major General George B. McClellan and President Lee's Army of Northern Virginia at Sharpsburg, where I am right now. As on September 17, Hooker's corps mounted a powerful assault on Lee's left flank that began the single bloodiest day in American military history. Over 23,000 men were killed, and is considered one of the bloodiest days in civil history. Attacks and counterattacks swept across Miller's cornfield, and fighting swirled across Dunker Church. Union assaults against Federal advantage would not follow late. Late in the day, Burnside's corps finally got the action, crossing the stone bridge over Antietam Creek and rolling up the Confederate right. At a crucial moment, A.P. Hill's division arrived from Harper Ferries and counterattacked, driving back Burnside and saving the day. Although outnumbered 2-1, Lee committed his entire force, while McClellan sent in less than 3/4 of the army, enabling Lee to fight the Federals to a standstill. During the night, both armies consolidated their lines. In spite of crippling casualties, Lee continued to skirmish with McClellan throughout the 18th while moving his wounded south of the river. McClellan did not renew the assault. After dark, Lee ordered his battered army of Northern Virginia to withdraw across the Potomac into Shenandoah Valley. This is corny.
Bruh.
Now to our angels in the studio.
Bruh. 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 Bruh.
That's a wrap.